At first glance, this looks like a forgotten railroad photograph. Grainy, weathered, and pulled straight out of the early 70s. But look closer. This isn't history. This is HO scale. This is George Pectin Jr.'s world, built with so much realism it can fool your eyes before the trains even start to move. What's up, flocking model railroaders? This is Alan with the Mason Dixon, and today we're taking a tour through one of the most dramatic Penn Central layouts you'll ever see. George Pectin Jr.'s HO scale world of deep valleys, towering bridges, and that classic black and white Penn Central attitude. This layout has been featured all over social media for a reason. It's bold, it's gritty, it captures the Penn Central era with a level of scenery you don't often see. George models Penn Central with a ton of character, patched units, weathered freight cars, and long, heavy trains grinding through mountain territory. Even though Penn Central only existed for a few years, the look is iconic. Black locomotives, white worms, and that sense of a railroad doing everything it can to keep freight moving. This is the transfer table that George told me he rewired and set it up for DCC so he can control it from his throttle. Now, one thing George is really excited about, and honestly so am I, is the operation scheme he's been developing for this layout. Penn Central wasn't just about moving trains, it was about moving freight with purpose, and George is capturing that. He's been working out how locals, through freights, and interchange traffic all flow through this territory. It's not just trains running in circles, it's a railroad with jobs, decisions, and consequences.
Okay.
Something else that tells you just how special this layout is, Model Railroader magazine has shown interest in coming out to do an article on it. And honestly, once you see the scenery, the vertical drama, and the Penn Central atmosphere George has created, it makes perfect sense. This is the kind of layout that photographs beautifully. Deep gorges, tall bridges, and trains that look like they're fighting their way through real terrain. It's the kind of work that catches the eye of anyone who loves the craft. And if Model Railroader does make the trip, I think a lot of people are going to be blown away by what George has built here. It's one of these layouts that deserves to be seen by the wider hobby. One thing you really start to appreciate the longer you look at George's layout is the sheer amount of detail he's packing into every scene. It's not just the big cliffs and bridges, it's the little stories tucked in the corners. You'll spot weathered structures, abandoned equipment, junk piles, signage, all these tiny little touches that make the world feel lived in. George has this way of adding details that don't scream for attention, but once you notice them, you can't unsee them. It's the kind of craftsmanship that rewards you for slowing down and really taking in the scene. And you can tell he's having fun with it too. There are little Easter eggs hidden all over the place, things you'd never catch on a quick walkthrough, and that's part of what makes this layout so engaging. And if you ever get the chance to come to one of George's open houses, he actually turns all those details into a full blown scavenger hunt. It's a blast. The kids love it. Hands you a list of things to find, some obvious, some absolutely devious, and suddenly you're not just looking at the layout, you're exploring it. It's one of the most fun ways to experience a model railroad because you start noticing things you'd never catch otherwise. You'll be leaning in, checking behind buildings, scanning the hillside, trying to spot that one tiny detail he tucked in there just to mess with you. And it's a great way to get the kids involved too. They love the challenge, and it turns the whole layout into an adventure.
Is all this stuff covered too, George? All the pens? Actually, it's a separate. I think it's two kids. Okay. We're gonna do one, two. Some of it's hard to see. Very cool.
George told me that one of the things he never stops doing is weathering cars, as you can see from that last train. And he says he always uses a prototype photograph for weathering and tries to match it as close as possible. And that's a useful tip because otherwise, the weathering technique that you use just ends up being what all the cars look like.
You have the map, I do not.
Every corner of this layout has a story waiting to be found. You don't just look across this layout, you look down into it.
That's way up there.
This is the kind of scene that makes you forget that you're looking at an HO scale model railroad.
I usually down in Upper Run. Yeah. I'll be there.
Does your wife recognize the white Lincoln?
How you doing, Scott?
Or is doing the seek and find?
Is she? Good luck. No hints. Don't help her. That's a wrap on today's tour. Every inch of this layout tells a story, and we've only scratched the surface. Thanks for watching. See you on the next run.